Hey guys, welcome to the Cash Flow Talk Deal Makers. Today I'm so excited to have Jay Hernandez. He's a good friend of mine. He's doing drop shipping, nothing that has to do with real estate. But I met this guy at an event in Miami Beach, the Epic Talks Miami, which I've interviewed a few of the hosts of this meeting. And ever since I met him, I love your energy, man. Anything you do, you put so much energy into it. You're a young entrepreneur. You're doing this thing, drop shipping, which is new for me. Brother, thank you for spending a few minutes of your busy day with me, man, today.
Yeah, man, my pleasure.
Thank you. Brother, in a minute, tell me a little bit about you. What do you do? Tell me a little bit about you.
All right, cool. Well, I go by Jay, 26. I live in Miami. Like you said, I do drop shipping. I've got into the world of just business like 2014. I started with MLM marketing, and somehow, some way, I ended up doing drop shipping, digital marketing, and I also have a hemp awareness company. It's just a platform. But yeah, I love this whole movement of just being self-sufficient and making something happen, making a difference in the world.
Awesome, man. That's great. And I relate to you because I relate with you because when I started in the business mentality and working for myself and passive income, it was funny. I went to one of these meetings in a hotel room, and this guy was all dressed up, and he was talking about passive income, and he was talking like, would you imagine your bills getting paid for without you moving a finger while you're sleeping? And I'm like, shit, what is this? It ended up being a multi-level marketing, and I did it for like 4 or 5 years. In the first one, I didn't make any money, but it was the best school of business that I've had. It was amazing. I highly recommend to anybody. What MLM did you do?
I did ACN.
ACN, what was it about?
Yeah, services. So internet service, cable services,
Awesome.
phone services. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I learned a lot about that, man. The biggest thing I learned from that was being okay with a no. You know, you make a presentation, they say no, and you just move on next, you know? What was your biggest lesson with multi-level marketing?
Oh man, it was that you don't have to go to college per se to get the lifestyle you wanted, because I was the whole, ever since I grew up, it was just, you got to go to college, you got to be a doctor to then buy the Aston Martin or whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then I saw a kid, his name was Isaac. He was 21 years old with an Aston Martin. And I'm like, all right, it was a reset in my mind. And it's so crazy because years later, I still remember that moment when I saw him on stage and he's like, I just got this new Aston Martin and I'm 21 years old. And even though we're not in the same business, we're not in the same industry at all, it's a reset. It was basically like you can't unsee that. And that changed it for me.
That was awesome, man. That was awesome. I also relate with you because you're young, you're entrepreneur, a lot of energy. Like your energy budget is freaking unlimited, right? Like you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and that's what you need for you to be in business. Jay, tell me a little bit about this drop shipping thing. What is it? How do you make money? Tell me a little bit about how you started. How many years or months have you been? I know you just started recently. How long ago did you start? And what has been your experience with that?
Awesome. Well, I got started really through Instagram. I started seeing just like people balling out of control. And the crazy thing is that these people were younger than me, and they built systems that just paid them automatically. And they could be doing whatever they want, and the systems kept paying them. And, you know, I started getting into that world, and, you know, I had one conversation with one of my mentors today. His name is Jeff Bunting. And he was like, drop shipping, like if you are consistent on eBay and you every day you're working on it, eventually it comes a time where this system works for you. And even if you stop working completely for it, you've already scaled the system. So it's going to keep paying you. And I was skeptical at first. I started doing it, and I remember that first sale. That first sale changed it for me. And I remember where I was, the people I was around, and I'm like, I just got my first sale. I'm looking at my phone like, I just got my first sale. And I did affiliate marketing before, so it's it's different, but it's so cool when you have a system that just pays you on your phone,
Yeah.
and it's freedom. Basically, when you do it enough times, it becomes freedom.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of work, but ultimately the goal is passive income, and yeah, it becomes
Yes.
freedom. You reminded me of my very first freedom paycheck. I would call it that way, brother. I'm from Colombia, and it was the first time that I went with my girlfriend at the moment, now my wife, Michelle. And it was a December 31st. We were New Year's Eve in Colombia. We celebrate in Colombia New Year's the on New Year's Eve. So for us, New Year's is December 31st. That was the big party and this and that. And I had bought my first rental property a few months ago, a few months before that. And the tenant moved in on December 1st. I went to Colombia like December 15th for 2 weeks. And it was like 1 in the morning on January 1st. And Section 8, that was a Section 8 tenant. Section 8 pays automatically. I go to my bed like to see what time it is. I can't remember what it was. We were in a finca. It's like a ranch, a secondary home in the mountains. And I see my cell phone and I see Section 8 just paid you. It was like $1,400. And I'm like, oh shit. Like here I am like half drunk. My family's outside. But it was like a realization that, oh shit, like these really happens. Oh my God, that was awesome. So thanks for sharing that story, man. Brother, the reason why I'm doing these interviews, there's two reasons why I'm doing this. The first one is I want to provide value to the viewers by interviewing high level entrepreneurs, achievers, go-getters, deal makers. That's why I'm calling it deal makers. But there's a second reason behind it is that every time I talk to a person like you, I get inspired as well. It reminds me of how I started. It reminds me of why am I in business? There's a bigger purpose in business other than just making money. So I appreciate the fact that you're with me today. And that's why I'm calling it deal makers. I don't need, everybody wants to interview the biggest and the best of the very best, the millionaires, the billionaires. I want to interview people like you and me that are making shit happen, that people relate to, not the boss, but the person who is sitting behind their desk 9 to 5 and being able to save some money to buy a rental property. I think people relate to you and to me a little closer than that. So share with me a little bit of what your experience has been with your drop shipping. Before this call, you were telling me a little bit about your profits, how you got started. It's not enough money to buy your Aston Martin, but it's a great start. Tell me how can other people do it, and how can also share with me how can people connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing with drop shipping, and we talked about this a little bit before. If you do it, it's a great concept because it gives you travel. All right. If you know how to do it properly, you could use credit card points and travel for free. You could also do cashback with credit card points, help build your credit because you're spending money. Okay. I told you in the month of December, my first sale was mid-November. December, I did over $1,000 in sale. Now it's not $1,000 in profit, it's $1,000 in sales, but I spent $1,000. So that's cash back that credit card points I could get back, and I could use it for traveling. I could use it for whatever I want. So it gives you leverage. And let's say, for example, eBay, if you don't have money to start with eBay, just put in $250 set aside and you're good. You could start off with that. And the reason you want to put money aside is because there's PayPal restrictions when you first get started. As you get recognized, you start making sales, you could have a few $100s, few $1,000s in transactions, and PayPal won't freeze it. But at first, they have restrictions. It's a great concept. If you're just starting off, I highly recommend it. All you need is dedicate 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours a day, and you could definitely be successful in this.
Let me ask you, man. I am too much into personal development, and I follow the big entrepreneurs in business and in social media. Is this exactly what Gary Vee does as well? Does he does this? Because I know he goes to garage sales and he posts shit on Amazon and eBay and all these things.
Yeah.
Is it the same concept?
It's not the same concept because I don't have the items that I'm selling.
Okay.
Only when the item gets sold, it's when I buy it and I ship it to my customer.
Oh,
Now, what Gary Vee is doing, it's even a better concept if you're just starting off. You could go through thrift shops. I have a water bottle in my car that I bought at a local thrift shop for $1, and it's selling on Amazon for I think 12 or $15.
okay.
So it's that type of concept. Let's say you could buy like little collectibles that are worth maybe like $40. It costs you $7 to ship, and you could make up 20, $25 minus eBay fees, which are 10%. You can make nice profit if you have things to sell around your house. I mean, you could just start off with that.
Yeah.
It's
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it's there's no excuses, man. I hate when people
No,
are
there's
giving
not.
excuses, and you don't need to make $1 million. That's why I'm calling it deal makers. You don't need to make $1 million a month or $100,000 a month, and yeah, sorry about that. The goal is to get there, but you don't need nobody starts being a millionaire, and if they do, I mean, good for them, but most of the millionaires and most of the successful people started hustling and going at it every single day. Even if you have a job, there's no excuse. Anybody can spend 2 or 3 hours on this instead of watching news or, I don't know, watching
Yes.
games. Brother, what has been your biggest obstacle in life or business?
Oof, it's been me, man. It's been me. I get in my own way sometimes, and boy, it's like I'm against myself sometimes. And it shows up in how I think things should look like, other than the possibilities of what could be. I want it this way. I have to have it this way. Other than, oh, okay, wait, I could step back and I could have it like this, and I'll have all this.
Yeah.
It's been really me, and secondary, it's been relationships. Just the type of relationships, the type of people that I want to work with are people more with integrity. As in before, it was just like, let's make money, let's make things happen. And it's Peter Boog. He's one of the guys I follow. I highly recommend him. He says businesses don't succeed, people do. So it's all a people game. It's without people, there's no business.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't relate to you because you're not in the real estate business, but I am. And I tell all of my clients, listen, we're not in the housing business. We're in the people business. It's if you have a great conversation with a client, if you sell them a good property, a good deal, they make money out of it, they feel good through the closing process, they feel good after the closing, you have a good relationship with them. What are they going to do after they sell it and make a profit? They're going to call you back and ask for another deal from you. It's always a people's business, no matter what you're doing. That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. Jay, you are in our Street Smart Club. It's a private club that we have for entrepreneurs, for achievers. It's type of like it's 2 calls a month where we share an idea or a lesson that we have. We're starting this year to have also successful people to jump into the call and share with us their experience in business. What has your experience been with the Street Smart Club? I know you just started back in December, but what do you think about it? Tell me a little bit about it.
Oh man, and I shared with you even before when I first met you. I shared with you. I have the game Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I've never really taken the time to play it because make up a bunch of excuses. I have a bunch of them I can make up right now. But when you guys offered that, I was like, I'm in, because I knew I was going to get value out of it. And just seeing how people do deals and just like seeing that world and my emotions. Oh man, I remember when I got that equity card. It's like it's fake, but it's real, and I got a lot of value from that. I'm also getting a lot of value from the calls because it's a mindset shift. You see, I go more like softwares for automation, digital automation. You guys brought up rental properties, laundromats. I remember you told me that your first business was like a gumball machine, and that's passive income.
I still have
So
it, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because it's like there's more than one ways of making it. We talked about the ATM business where you're hands on, it's not digital, and I believe it's diversification. Like just creating systems like what we talked about. I get a lot of value from it. I think the most valuable thing I got from it was the personalities, and that was on the previous call.
Yeah, the those of you who don't know, the Street Smart Club is a club that we have, is a private club that we have. It's only $50 a month. I'm gonna share with you guys the price. It's only $50 a month, and it's two private calls that we do, 1 hour calls every 2 weeks, and we just share a topic. So, for example, when you were talking about the personalities, that day we were sharing our experience about four different personalities when you're in business. There's four people have four different personalities, period, no matter how they act and how they are born and raised and any of that. And there's four different languages that people speak, and if you're talking in their language, it's kind of like a report course on steroids. It's how to communicate better with people, and that affects anybody in business. We also talk about sales and money management. We've had many other calls right before you started, so I'm excited because in this year we're gonna start redoing the previous calls for the new people that haven't seen them. But there's a ton of value in there, man. Thank you for being part of it. Brother, how can viewers get in contact with you if they wanted to ask you more information, if they wanted to connect with you? How can they connect with you?
Absolutely. On Instagram, my handle is jnugs, J, the letter J, Nugs. You could go to my website and just contact me there as well. It's hempmentor.com. Yeah, those are my best two right there.
Awesome.
I have an email if you guys want to email me, but those are my best two right there.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
They can private message you if they wanted to connect with you or follow him on Instagram. Through the entire conversation, I have your Instagram handle at the bottom, so anybody can see it. Just add him.
Awesome.
Jay, quick favor that I wanted to ask you right before we get to the fun round. I promise you it was going to be short and sweet. I'm gonna ask you a favor, man. If you're seeing value from these interviews, from these conversations, one thing is that they hear from me. Can you please ask the viewers to subscribe to this channel, the Cash Flow Talk?
Absolutely, guys. Subscribe to Cash Flow Talks. Street Smart Club. It's on point. It's on point because it's a mind shift. It's not like what you learned in school. It's not. Listen, I went to college. The degree is in my closet. I don't really value it much because I didn't learn much from it. I learned more from these types of groups where you're hands-on. You're meeting people. You're connecting with people. And even if you're not local, these calls right here, and I'm telling you, that previous call you did, Camilo, was on steroids, man. For sales, if you're in sales, if you're closing people, if you're in any type of business or just want to be a better person, or create passive income for sure. Yeah, highly suggested. Highly recommended.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. So you heard it from him. Subscribe below. Hit that share button if you're liking this. Jay, let's go to a fun round. Quick questions, quick answers. Some about business, some about life. Just give me a quick answer, man. What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Ooh, oh man. All right, here we go. All right, it's on you. It's always gonna be on you. If you want it, it's on you. If you want it, it's on you. That's it.
Love it. What did you want to do when you were a kid?
Be an astronaut.
Astronaut. I wanted to be a cop. Who was your idol when you were a kid?
I was a kid. My idol.
Or who's your idol now?
Now, Elon Musk, Richard Branson.
Awesome. When I was a kid, it was Michael Jordan for sure. Favorite class in school?
Favorite class in school, PE.
And worst class in school?
Worst class was probably reading. Yeah.
Reading. Okay, I hate reading too. Were you the nerd in class or the school clown?
No, I was the one trying to socialize to get the answers and just create groups.
Last thing you purchased on Amazon?
Last thing I purchased on Amazon was a meal replacement.
A what?
A meal replacement.
Okay.
Like a complete meal replacement.
Awesome. What do you always carry with you, but it's not your cell phone?
My water bottle.
Your water bottle. Favorite all-time movie?
I want to say Wolf of Wall Street.
That was a good one. Do you play any sports?
I that right now.
Okay. What do you do to relax after a long day of work?
After a long way, well, I like to go to the beach and just lay on the sand, get some sun.
Okay. What would you have loved to do, but you didn't have the talent for?
That's a great one. Ah, I can't. That's a great one, man. That's a great one. What would I have loved to do, but I did not have the talent? I would say. I mean, I don't know, man.
Wow.
To be
For
honest
me,
with
it's for me as a athlete, man. I would have loved to play soccer or baseball or tennis. Like be in a competitive, high level, like Aaron, like an Aaron Rodgers or like even football, American football. You know, like a big
you.
sport.
Well, I like Richard Branson a lot because he does crazy stuff like and likes to break records, world records. So I'm not at his level yet, but that's something that I'm into. Yeah, for
All
sure.
right. Awesome. Well, I guess this is a given. If you could spend a day with anybody in the world, dead or alive, who would it be?
My man, it would probably be like Napoleon Hill.
Wow, second person today that says the same thing. I thought you
Really?
were gonna say Richard Branson. Yeah. But wow, that's awesome. My friend Susana Camedo, I just interviewed her an hour ago, and she also said Napoleon Hill. That's awesome. If you could change something in the world, what would it be? That is the last question.
It would be petroleum use. It's destroying the world. It's creating more plastic products. There's more plastic. It's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish in 2020.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I
Yeah.
think I have a different point of view on that. I understand where you're going from. Why are you saying this thing? But I think in the past 5 years or probably even 3 years, people are getting a lot more conscious. And
For sure.
with the advancement and technology, they're coming up with these crazy ideas on how to clean the oceans, how to clean the pollution, how to create more efficient cars and more efficient industry like plants and all these things. And for example, in Mexico, they created vertical gardens for Mexico was one of the most polluted countries in the world, especially Mexico City. Was one of the most polluted cities in the world.
Yeah.
And they created these vertical gardens that consume all this CO2 and create oxygen. And they're putting them on the walls, on the bridges, on the streets.
Cool.
Now they're green bridges. They are self-sufficient because they don't need too much water, but they also are fed from the water that rains. So it's not like anybody has to just
Water
water
them,
them. So I think with the plastic thing, I wanted to elaborate a little bit more. I see what you're saying that in 2020 or 2030 there's going to be more plastic than fish, but I think there's big people coming in that are going to revolutionize that, and there's going to be a solution for that, in my opinion. Probably not in 2020, but down in the future. I think there's a good possibility on that. My
And
opinion.
I agree.
You know.
And I agree.
So yeah, if we go the same way we've been going, yeah, that's right. But I think people are trying to work on cleaning the oceans, and there's more. People are a little bit more conscious.
I think it starts with us. Like I was literally at the beach yesterday, and I put a lot of stuff on social media, but there's some stuff that I don't put out, and this was one that I didn't put out. And I was at the beach yesterday, and literally I found a plastic bag right in the ocean. I found so much plastic, and then I felt guilty because I saw somebody else picking up plastic, and I'm like, I grabbed one of the bags I found, and I started picking up plastic myself. And I ended up, I mean, I can send you a picture. It's a whole bag and a bucket full of plastic.
Send it to me.
And if we each do our part, like you said, we could reverse a lot of that. But it starts with us. It starts with us. And yeah, there's going to be big entrepreneurs. Elon Musk. I mean, Adidas right now, they're coming out with hemp shoes, which is biodegradable. There's a lot of things happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it starts with us. It always
Absolutely.
starts with us.
You know, cool story. My wife and I heard. I am a big Miami Dolphins fan, and I hate Tom Brady for the wrong reasons because he's super respectable. He's 199th pick in the draft, 6th round or 7th round pick. He plays against the Dolphins every year. He always wins, but he's a gentleman. He's a family person. And I saw a post last year that he did on Instagram that he had quit using straws.
Yeah.
And since then, I told my wife, like, listen, I hate this guy, but I love this guy. I'm going to quit using straws. And since then, my wife and I and my daughter, when we go out for lunch or dinner, we don't use a straw. In the past year, I was talking to my wife back in December, and we've probably saved, I'm going to say about 500 straws.
Wow.
Just by us two. You know, every time I go to a restaurant, they put you a straw in there, so I give it back. Hey, we don't need these. Hey, we don't need these. Hey, we don't need these. So, yeah, man, we should be a little bit more proactive and maybe share that on social media so people can tag along. Social media is powerful. So that's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Jay, thank you for your time, brother. This was fun. I'll see you in the next Street Smart Club and the next cash flow game as well. Thank you for your time. I know you're busy. Thank you for sharing your ideas. And again, you can connect with him, Jay Nugs, on Instagram. And thank you for your time, brother.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thank you, Camilo. Definitely opt into the channel, opt into Street Smart Club. You're gonna get value out of it. You're gonna get value out of it. You're gonna connect with people like me and many other performers that are in it.
Awesome, man.